What should we talk about? Yeah, we can talk about dominant chords. Um, you know, I talked about like the regular C chord, and then now I'm thinking about like, if you're already at home with this thing and it's easier to monitor what's going on because you don't have any sharps or flats, then it's much easier to introduce a flat or a sharp. But I like to view this as sometimes I like to view stuff as like this would be B flat, right? And sometimes, depending on the tonality, it would be like A sharp. But like, let's keep it B flat, because if you want to do, if you want to have a C major 7 chord, then you just, in the first position, you just release the first finger and you get the B here, right beneath the E, high E, right? I'm not holding anything here. When I was a student, at like I think I was like 12 or something. I was playing like everybody who starts playing just keeps the pinky underneath the neck, and then this Johnny, my first guitar teacher, he told me like, look, you got to teach yourself to keep the finger, like even if you have to stick, a pencil or something here to your finger, like you have a cast or something, just teach yourself to have the finger always in front of the fretboard, because once you start playing faster, you'll just lose time by getting it in front of the fretboard in the right position. Yeah. So okay, yeah. So that's from this perspective, because I'm watching the video and it's mirroring what I do, and there's quite a bit of latency. Yeah. So basically, this is C major 7. You just add the 7th note, which is B. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So you just add that. Yeah, so now you have your arpeggio would be. But if you want to have a dominant chord, then you will use the 7th note in the scale, but it will be a minor 7th degree. It'll be, the 7 will be flat, so you will have a B flat in there. So you get to keep the octave here, and you have this chord. And it's quite cool because, on its own, you think it sounds so, dominant, that it wants to resolve back into the regular C chord, but you can keep it because, I think it's probably in our genes already, in our genetics, that we're so used to this sound. Yeah. So the first position is this, and then basically, if you've learned the 1, 3, 5, which construct the regular chord, now you just have to add the Roy Orbison song, the song by Richard Gere. So this is a a new color that you can use, yeah. And then the next inversion, or the next position, would be, so you would actually omit this note. So the octave drops back a whole step to a B. And this is a good way to view this, is just, learn find the the tonic, the first degree, and just drop it a whole step, 2 frets down. So yeah, we talked about the A7 moving up, A, B, A, B flat, B, C, 7, yeah. So like this, right? Yeah. So it's the same thing here. If this were a barring finger, it's not the right expression, I don't know. So you can also have the G here when you're up in A7. So it's all generated from these elementary, like basic chord shapes. Yeah, so you just move up here, right? And you get the sound. And then when you analyze a little bit, this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 5. So that's the order of the notes. And this is 1, 5. So we substituted the 3 with the 5 over here. That's the G. And then we just kept this because it's all in close proximity. Yes. And then you have 1, 5, 7. And this is 5. No, shit, this is major third, sorry. And then this is the 5 again. So you... This is, I mean, like lately this has been abused. I'm not gonna say, I mean, to me, I relate it to, this shit. I relate, this is the first thing that comes to my mind. But then you have, all these crappy Justin Bieber and all the other, feed crap to the little kids projects, music industry projects. That's one of the songs that I've been dealing with lately, teaching a student, because that's all he wants to know, I guess. And then some other stuff from something like that, I guess. Well, yeah, anyway, a blessing in disguise when you teach people is just music, and you don't get to choose always what you want to teach them. Is you teach them whatever you transcribe whatever they want to learn, and then you just, soon as they're out the door, you're just like, I can't remember what we did. But yeah, this is the interval. This has been quite abused lately, at least in my life. So this is a major third, but it's an octave apart. So anyway, this is the 7th chord, and then this, of course, we are now moving this back to the octave to make this sound fuller, or you can play it like this. A little chromatic movement. Yeah, so it spices up things a little bit, and it makes it a little bit more complicated because now you have to think about 4 notes instead of 3 notes in an arpeggio. But once you get, like, if you apply the same, principle as we talked about this thing, and just like lifting the finger and just, you get a lot of cool, like, cool runs. Well, what I'm doing here is I'm actually mixing, I'm putting in notes from a major scale, but I'm thinking minor pentatonic, which we'll get to eventually. No, it's just get creative with it. You know, the sus7 chord, sus4, this one. Raise the third up a half step. Maybe add like a G sharp note here that actually does not belong into the C scale, in the C scale. But actually, once we touched, you know, touched upon the subject of like flatting the 7, going from C major 7 to, you know, dropping this a whole step. Now you were into Mixolydian territory. It starts out as a major scale and then has this minor, and it's much more tension than so like. You know, then sounds much more nasty to me, you know. You know the B note, B flat note. That sounds much better for blues than this. Major 7 and a natural B note, Lord. Yes, I would like say this is more jazz, you know, than I would relate this to the blues much more. So what I've learned is that the 7, this tension, and the third, you know, the 3 and the 7 are like essential for you don't even have to play the root note. You can just go. You know, and then to F. It's just like chromatic movement. G, G7, drop the 1 to the 7, right? A whole step down to F. And then you get G7, or you can just play. Yeah, so, and what's interesting is that, like, this, a perfect fifth would be, you know, but this, they call this the devil's interval, the flat 5. So it sneaked its way into this chord. This is C7, yeah. From this shape, or from this shape if you want to have a double third in there, or yeah, or back here. But this sounds much more cleaner because it has a fifth up here, yeah. So you move it up here, and then another shape would be this. So you take the third and the fifth, and then you would have this is the top C note, and then just drop it. And while you're here, you have the C note here, and then just drop that too. But try to memorize that, You know, these guys are here. We're already in diminished territory. So you have this. Don't know if you can see this. So what I'm playing is E is 6, this is B is 8. I'm talking about strings, and this is 9, G is 9, and then this is 6 again on the D string. Yeah, so just learn these sounds, you know. And then the analogy is like if you want to move to G, then F would be here. But I don't have enough frets. You know? So then if you take this chord, you just remove the pinky, and the chord becomes way stinky. Yeah. So like. What I'm doing here is like, let's go back to, this is F and then this is G, 7, flat 9, right? Yeah. So if you go back here, then, you know, you have the 1, 3, 7. Then when you raise this note, which is C, the octave, right? You get a 9. So yeah, it's not a flat 9, this is a raised 9, I guess. Yeah. But this is flat 9, and it's very commonly used. This becomes a melodic phrase within a chord, right? So what you do is you harmonize, the notes on the second string, C, D, D sharp, E. So what I do is I just bar it with the pinky. So by adding these notes, you add more color. You end up with a different chord and the same tonality, but you add more color, you know? Like, so what else is good here? Like a 13 would be nice, right? So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's gold. So you would do this. Then you might recognize it from like, you know. It's the funk chord in the funk phrase. So you go up higher and it's even more funky. So what's a 13? Basically a 13 is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 6th degree in the scale, which is A, octave higher. So, you know, so you can play it like this. Or so why do we play it on the first string? Because if you try to squeeze it in on the G string, you lose the 7. You know, the B flat becomes A, and then you get a C6. It's like an A minor with a C in the bass. Yeah, so any of these shapes and fingerings, you know, you can always have a lot of fun, just like raising a certain so this is a 9 chord, 7, 9. So you have C, G, and then you have B, D, and G. So it's basically like this, you know. The thing is, if you have an additional note in the chord, you know, once you record this or somebody's playing this behind you, you know, if you have a 13 note, then you can, when you're phrasing, you can stop. You know, you can stop at this note. It becomes one of the safe zones, you know, amongst all these notes that you can actually play, and you can actually incorporate it and just like hang on to it for a little while phrasing. Yeah, so 13 is good, a 9 is good. These are all things that work. So maybe next time we get into, what did they call them? Diatonic substitutions. Yeah, we'll do that next time, I guess. But for now, I mean, just have fun with this, or don't. Subscribe, give me money, support. You have to figure out a way. How are you going to give me money? Donate, yeah. But what I did is I opened up a business PayPal account, and next to the the other one, and I realized they removed the donate button. So thank you very much. So now you have pages like websites like Patreon, where it actually, what I figured out is just like it works. You know, you got to give something back besides whatever you're sharing your knowledge or any misinformation in a comedic way. So I don't know, I have to think about that, but you know, this is therapy for me. Thank you so much for watching, and here's Satan Spawn again saying good night.